Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So that's when we figured out that there was something more than just being depressed.
Coming up, in an effort to continue our stories about mental health and suicide prevention, a senior opens up about her fight against depression.
Plus, the wrestling teams had a big weekend with several wrestlers advancing to the next playoff tournament. I'll have those results in the full court press.
And time is running out to sign up for financial aid as the FAFSA deadline is less than a week away.
This and so much more, Unleash begins now.
Bringing the news to you from Rockland, California, this is Unleashed.
Good morning, Wildcats. I'm Sydney Brandt.
And I'm Kayla Daughters. Today is Wednesday, February 24th, and we're on an even day schedule.
Today, we continue our week dedicated to mental health awareness and suicide prevention.
And don't forget, on Friday, we are having a Lime Green Spirit Day. You are encouraged to wear green and your ribbons to support students with a mental illness.
When doing our research for this week, we found out that most teens who are suicidal talk with peers about their concerns rather than with an adult.
A recent published review found that even though teens with suicidal thoughts turn to a friend for help, fewer than 25% of the friends tell an adult about the problem. They don't urge their friend in crisis to get help.
Oftentimes, teens think that they will betray their friend's trust and that their friend will hate them.
But by telling someone, you will save their life.
So, who do you tell?
Well, the first step is to call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK.
Yesterday, you heard Kevin Hines say that number at the end of his story. He said that it saved his life.
But the message this week is if you see something or hear something, tell someone. Help your friend. Call the number on the screen.
Today, we also wanted to look closer at why a high school student might have thoughts of suicide.
Reporter Brianna Gill and photographer Patty Orozco found a student who was brave enough to ask for help.
She fought thoughts of suicide and now is determined to help teens who suffer from depression. Here is their story.
Here, the sight of senior Chloe Parker laughing might portray her as a normal teenager. But what people don't know is that she's been overcoming depression.
I felt like, I guess, more like suicidal to the point where, like, if a car hit me, I'd just kind of be fine with it. So that's when we knew that something was definitely wrong. And his name was Peaches, and I was like, that's the cutest name.
Simple conversations like this with Chloe wouldn't be possible today if she continued to believe that she had no purpose.
Part of you is kind of just like, you know, it wouldn't matter. Like, I'm not doing anything anyways right now just because you're so, like, emotionless.
It was last year in Mr. Knowles' psychology class that Chloe was able to tell her story for the first time.
It was a good experience for kids to see not only somebody admit something about themselves that's very difficult to admit, but also what steps she was taking.
Color, like coloring books.
Today, Chloe finds relief through coloring, a huge transformation from where she was 2 years ago.
It's just like nice to see things like become pretty. Freshman year, I started to like self-harm, which isn't a good coping mechanism, obviously. Both years I was put into a hospital, but they both helped me both times.
Now that Chloe has overcome her daily struggle, she reaches out to her 34,000 followers on Instagram and helps them in their time of need.
I've had a lot of people like private message me on there saying like, you know, I don't know if my parents will like this, or like, what do I say to my therapist, or, you know, I'm just feeling like this, you know, what's wrong? Yep.
One thing that motivated Chloe to fight against her suicidal thoughts was the pain that she would have caused to those who she left behind.
Seeing people's reactions when I like told them, obviously like you do kind of realize like, you know, something, it would be different if I weren't here.
Reporting for WCTV 19 with photographer Patty Roscoe, I'm Brianna Gill.
Chloe said she reached the point where she would hurt herself, but she had the courage to tell someone.
She spent time at an outpatient hospital and it saved her life. Her message today is to not be afraid to tell someone if you are having suicidal thoughts. Remember,
If you or someone you know is struggling with a mental illness or has a suicidal thought, call 1-800-273-TALK.
stop by the amphitheater today at lunch to celebrate Scholastic Journalism Week with Whitney High Student Media. This year's theme is The Stories We Tell, and you can participate by writing your 6-word story and getting a piece of candy. Also, you can read more 6-word stories online at the Whitney Update and in this week's special of The Roar. It comes out on Friday, and we will feature 6-word stories on love, loss, and laughter. And the leadership team is hosting the Spring Blood Drive on Friday in the small gym. If you want to participate and help save lives, pick up a permission slip. The permission slips are located at a table outside of the student store at lunch. The deadline to sign up is tomorrow.
Juniors, there is a meeting on March 1st during intervention in the small gym. The meeting will cover junior prom ticket sales, dance dress code, and event information. The meeting is mandatory for all juniors. Again, the meeting is March 1st during intervention in the small gym. And class of 2017, junior prom tickets go on sale on March 8th in the student store. The last day to buy a ticket is March 11th. They are on sale at lunch and after school. It is a first-come, first-served basis for table seating. Remember, you must have all ID cards, permission slips, money, and guest passes to reserve a table. Ticket prices are $60 with ASB, $65 without, and $70 for guests. Now here is Sydney with your club news.
If you are a club president, there is a mandatory meeting tomorrow at lunch in the theater. The leadership team will discuss club shields, club events, and the upcoming showcase night. If you have any questions, please contact Amaya Gregory in the student store. And the Spanish Club is having their next club meeting tomorrow during lunch in room F14. If you are in the club or if you sign up to bring an item for the meeting, please do not forget it. If you have any questions, contact Mr. Armas in room F14.
And now it's time to get the news from you in the Word.
Here is social media reporter Emily Bremley with the Word. Emily?
Hey guys, up first, check out this picture senior Brendan Stork shared on Instagram with the hashtag WHSUnleashed. In this picture, you can see Brendan's finished alternating current vinyl for his EPB class. He created a styrofoam cutter that will help make foam pieces for metal casting. And on Snapchat, senior Connor Gaspar sent us this snap from the men's volleyball team. On Saturday, the volleyball team played in the Jesuit Jamboree. There were 8 schools at the event, and the team played 30-minute-long scrimmages. And this week, we asked you to tweet about how you are going to change the way people view mental illness using the hashtag WHSUnleashed. Junior Allie Birch is going to make a change by being more accepting. She says that she is going to smile at everyone that she sees. And as we mentioned earlier, we are dedicating each show to mental health awareness and suicide prevention. We're going to challenge each other to be more accepting of teens with a mental health issue. So, what are you going to do to make a change and why? Use the hashtag WHSUnleashed and include a picture of yourself wearing the green ribbon if you have one. Well, that's all we have for today. Now back to Cindy and Kayla.
Thanks, Emily, and we want to feature you in Unleashed.
So make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat so that you can be in the Word.
We're going to stop for a quick break and show you 2 PSAs that we entered this year for the Directing Change video contest.
Directing Change is one of the leaders in California's mental health movement, and they have provided the facts that you have heard in the show today.
Up first is a PSA from Sammy Shelton, Sarah Carver, and Jada Sandu about suicide prevention.
Followed up with a PSA from Banish Faruqi and Natalie Monroe about mental health awareness. We'll be right back.
It's hard to connect with those living with a mental illness.
When one doesn't understand how it feels.
Living with bipolar disorder feels like being on an unpredictable road. Speeding along the road is like being in the manic state of extreme elation, but then I slide off the road from the rain, and I falter and fall into the depressive state. I stop and try to figure out what to do, but my mind is jumbled and I can't control my actions. I wish someone would just stop and take a moment to understand and help me through living with bipolar disorder.
Living with depression feels like being stuck in a tree. Looking down and seeing the distance makes me feel like I can never climb down and that I'm hopeless. It's easy for people down there, the people living without my illness, to not understand how I feel. Sometimes I think the only way down is just jump, that suicide is my only answer. If only someone would understand my depression.
50% of teens will experience a mental health challenge in their life. For the other 50% who don't, it is crucial to understand, support, and protect those who need help. For more information, visit eachmindmatters.org.
Before I attempted suicide, I carelessly poured the drink my mother had always warned me not to take. I even felt so trapped that I couldn't bear to make it to school once again. Before I attempted suicide, I became heartstruck. I was set free by the sword of love when I saw my mother, saw my brother. I fell for their deep compassion, profound care, aspects I hadn't noticed before. Through recognizing my warning signs, I decided to get help. I awoke to soft sheets with a sense of purpose. I woke up as a survivor, inspired to help others win their own battles. Mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of. Neither is talking about it. Help can be where you least expect it, right in front of you. Saving a life is only 11 buttons away at 1-800-273-TALK.
Welcome back, and here's the latest news that you can find in the College and Career Center.
If you are trying to decide between taking the SAT or the ACT, take the Kaplan Combo Practice Test. The test is Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and registration is only $20.
Seniors, if you are attending a college or university in the fall, the deadline to apply for financial aid is next week. You need to file a FAFSA application to see if you qualify for financial aid. The FAFSA priority deadline is Tuesday. See Mrs. Randazzo if you have any questions or if you need help with the application.
The Assist-A-Grad Scholarship Program will kick off on Tuesday. Mrs. Randazzo will have a workshop during lunch on Tuesday to go over the application process. Sign up in the Career Center to attend the workshop.
The wrestling teams battled through the playoffs on Saturday.
That's right. We're going to send it over to Kyle Dowd with the results in your Full Court Press. Kyle?
Good morning, sports fans. The first round of the wrestling playoffs were last weekend, and both teams participated in two different tournaments. Here are the results. The Lady Cats are sending two girls to the state tournament. Italy Overton finished in third place at Masters, and Terry Tran earned a fifth place finish. Italy and Terry are among the top wrestlers in Northern California, and this weekend they will represent Whitney at the state meet in Visalia. On the men's side, the team earned a fifth place in Division II. 4 of the team's 6 wrestlers qualified for Masters. They are Colin Joe Ketchmar, Evan Pierce, and Christian Cornez. They will travel to Stockton this weekend with the hopes of making it to the state meet in March. And here are some of the games that you can check out today and later this week. The soccer team has their first home match of the season today against Granite Bay. The match kicks off at 4 o'clock. And the men's basketball team is hosting a first-round home playoff game tonight. They are the number 4 seed and take on Grace Davis High School from Modesto. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. And on Friday, the volleyball team takes on rival Rockland, who the Wildcats beat last year 3-0. That starts at 6 o'clock. And for the first time ever, Whitney and Rockland High Schools will be playing a unified athletics basketball game on Thursday. The game tips off at 6 p.m. in the Whitney Gym. The game is a part of the Unified Sports program that aims to unify students and athletes in competition. This game is also an official X Factor Maroon Out event. Prizes will be given out to the first 30 students at the game, so arrive early. Well, that's all we have for today. Now back to the anchor desk.
Thanks, Kyle. Now here's what you can expect to see in tomorrow's show.
We continue with our Mental Health Awareness Week. Oftentimes, the stigma about mental health is that those who are suffering are weird or crazy.
So we met a mental health advocate who was working to overcome her own illness while fighting to eliminate the stigma.
It would take every bit of energy for me to move, to get up out of bed, to go to classes, to hang out with my friends, to go to work.
Be sure to check out Megan Sanchez and Alina Velasquez's story tomorrow.
And if you want to rewatch anything you saw on today's show, head over to our website, WCTV19.com.
That's all for now, where the news is unleashed every day.
We'll see you tomorrow.